Today's podcast is sponsored by King's Cleaning Solutions. King's offers carpet cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, upholstery cleaning, natural stone maintenance, area rug cleaning, and hardwood floor cleaning in Kokomo and its surrounding areas. Contact them today for all of your cleaning needs.
Welcome to another edition of The Lamp. I'm Pat Munsey, publisher of the Kokomo Lantern. This is part of our ongoing election coverage, and with me today is candidate for Howard County Commissioner, Sherry Rowe. Thank you for joining me, Sherry.
Thanks
it's a pleasure to
me.
see you again. Sherry and I have known each other for just a few years. I was honored and fortunate enough to be alongside Sherry when she started probably one of the most important environmental campaigns that have taken place in the state of Indiana over the last 50 years, and that is she is a crusader for environmental health, all springing from contamination that her father was exposed to on the job with Delco Electronics for his entire career, right?
Right.
So tell me a little bit about what you do in that regard. We can talk a little bit about your book, and then how that might pertain to what you want to do as commissioner if elected.
Well, as a lot of people know, my book is still in the curriculum at Michigan State University. They've vetted long-term help here for us. Dr. Johnson is an anthropologist. She's a doctor of environmental anthropology. So basically what she does is studies the layers, and she studies how the plumes move.
We're talking about contamination plumes in the water underground.
Yeah, underground. So she's been studying a lot of the item files here. They've got a website, www.toxicaction.org.
Toxic Action?
.org. And they're constantly updating it. Her environmental students are like just researching through the files. We have new areas popping up all the time. You know, some of those files, I think the oldest was 1974 that I ran into. And you had my book, so this was like kind of an aha moment. You know, people told their stories, and I agreed to put them in there. That's why I wrote the book. One or two ladies had said to me, yeah, when there's cancer in an apartment, they bust up the floor, haul it out. I thought to myself, that's kind of extreme. Then I was in the files, and I was actually in a whole different area. I was looking at some files for PPG. Up pops this file, Delco Electronics, 1974. And I thought, I'm gonna look at that because that's the year my mother passed away. In there, it said, City of Kokomo gives permission for Delco Electronics to haul so many tons of contaminated concrete to the city dump and dispose of it. And I was like, whoa. It wasn't that I didn't believe the ladies, but it was like how things come full circle, because of those stories, 90% of them I verified, you know, through old documents and things like that. And that was one of the ones that I hadn't, but I wasn't gonna leave it out. So going forward, what we're doing now, they're teaching me how to write grant letters. Dr. Johnson is. There's a couple big grants that are up for grabs. One is an environmental justice grant for $10 million from EPA. Should Howard County get that, we would partner with like an outside organization, Citizens Action Coalition, probably we work with them a lot. And that money would be used for any resident business that wants their air, water, soil tested for free. The money would be used to buy the test. Then if we would find out they need a mitigation system for the air, the water, anything, we could use that money to provide those things. So that's particular grant, that's what the money has to be used for. It's for those two things, and we can use some for education, like just spreading the word. I find, unfortunately, most people don't think about contamination because you can't see it, you can't smell it.
Exactly.
Until it knocks on your door as a cancer diagnosis. And I always say, when somebody calls me and say, I got cancer, first thing I say, where do you live? Where'd you work? How long? And then I can say, okay, were they in a contaminated area?
And there are particular types of cancer that go along with industrial contamination.
Right,
They aren't
exactly.
just simply cancer of the liver or cancer. Well, this is leukemias and myeloid, and I'm going to miss that one. It's
acute myeloid.
Yeah. So, but those are specific to industrial exposure to toxic chemicals, and we are rife with those here, right? So, after dealing with this for years, you've decided to bring this fight to the public arena as a commissioner candidate, correct?
Yeah, just to have a voice at the table for the people, because canvassing out here, that's what I'm hearing. We feel like we don't have a voice. All these land grabs are going on. We have certain areas of town where the contaminated plumes have been here over 20 years and they're stalled. I know that's not a commissioner's job, but like some of these new businesses coming around, economic development money, the jail, for instance, I toured that. That's going to be a big issue. I toured it a couple months ago, and I was just in disbelief. I mean, the first thing is somebody that messes with studies chemicals. I saw big cracks in the floor, and I'm like, oh dear Jesus, they could have vapor intrusion, and I don't want to put the fear in anybody. So that was the first thing I saw. But there was a lot of safety issues in there for staff. Definitely.
I mean, that jail is built on an old dump.
Exactly. Definitely need a new jail. That's something I think we need to advocate for, the public safety. That's one of my talking points. Somebody works in healthcare, hear medics unavailable. You cringe because, time is of the essence. Our fire stations, there's downtown.
So I get a bug flying around me. I'm being attacked.
Downtown is on an old gas company.
The downtown fire station is sitting on top of an old gas.
Well, it's on down the hill, the parking lot. But so these plumes are stable per items, the way they categorize it, but no level safe.
Right.
Come on, no level safe.
Now, this contamination is not just limited to the city limits of Kokomo.
Oh no.
I mean, we have it in various places all over the county, right?
Exactly. But I was using those, like for example, in the station out at the bypass, I think it's Station 6. You got the GM plume that comes all the way across 31 on one side of it, and then you got 3 plumes from Stellantis on the other side. Those guys are right in the middle. I think that there needs to be a mitigation system in the fire stations, air mitigation, to make sure they're breathing clean air. I mean, they protect us.
So as commissioner, how would you help that become a reality?
Well, I've been researching. I am no politician.
No, but you are a researcher.
I'm a good researcher. I'm learning. So I've been learning about these edit funds and things and how they can be used to purchase equipment, renovate old buildings, things of that nature. And so I would push for things like that. I'd push for involving the people more. I think down the road, sometime they're going to have to adopt some sort of policy that involves the people. Because I think a lot of them feel, like they're not being heard.
Well, really, the environment seems to be the predominant issue that's facing government in this area right now, not just in the contamination that you've identified over the years, but in effluent problems with failing septic systems out in the county and things like that. So it's pervasive, this issue. Do you feel like you are particularly attuned to that and best qualified to address this kind of challenge?
Yeah, I think it would be good to have someone on the commissioner's board that has a little bit of an environmental experience. Sometimes I'm called an amateur, but when I put something out there, as I've learned this from you, I've got a document to back it up. I don't put anything out there. It's not my opinion, or what I might think. I verify it, put it out there. Unfortunately, I think a lot of times item counts on people like you and I not looking at those records.
Oh, obviously, yes.
And yeah, I was like so grateful when Michigan State came on board and had all these students that they were going to put in the file cabinet with me, because, you know, I could possibly never get through all those. But I mean, the one thing I'm trying to tell people, I have other attributes, 25 years of bookkeeping experience down at Southside Lumber, healthcare. So I think I would be an asset to those things. I'm all for economic development. I want them to know, I mean, basically our whole town could be a super fund, but we can't do that.
Right.
But what we can do is make it safe. You know, let's not hide anything. Let's not put a building over it and call it clean.
Sure.
Let's
So
just
we're going to have a lot of investment on top of what we've already seen.
Right.
Have you been able to find out if we have good agreements with these companies about how they'll handle their environmental stewardship? I've
just started digging into that, and
Okay.
I don't. The chemicals are scary. I mean, a lot of them are unbanned. The ironic thing, so the UAW coordinator for Stellantis refers to my research and book in training employees in his environmental safety class.
Wow.
I just learned this the other day, and I was like, that's crazy. You know.
Well, I mean, you've done the work. Yeah. I mean, how crazy is that?
Well, yeah. But you know, it all stems down to a promise I made to the factory workers 15 years ago, that I'd do whatever I could. I mean, I continue to do that. The odds are against me, as we all know.
Sure.
But I'm still going to be here, you know, with my loud mouth afterwards. Hopefully, I think our community needs some kind of board, you know, that works on this kind of stuff, that addresses it, that makes an honest effort to try to clean up. Because if we would get this grant money, you know, that would be huge for our county. We're a factory town. It's not changing. Let's just make it safe. Because, you know, realtors, you know, have to sell our community along with selling our homes. You know, if somebody says Kokomo, you know, and that where everything's all contaminated,
right,
you know,
right.
I'm just, you know, I want to get the message across that it can be safe here. We just have to do it right.
Sure. Now, one of the issues that has come up in eastern Howard County is the development of a solar farm, which is pretty far down along the road at this point,
Right.
as I understand it. That's supposed to be a green or clean energy.
Yeah.
How do you view solar power in Howard County, and where would you stand on the issue?
As they told me as a Democrat, that I'm supposed to have or support green energy.
Okay.
So my thoughts on it are there's not enough studies. I've researched solar farms from that point. There's not been enough studies. They don't know if some of the runoff, and there is a little bit of runoff, could cause cancer down the road. What we do know is the humming noise causes, you know, nausea, vomiting, migraines. So yeah, there's potential health issues.
So the humming is from the station that collects the energy that's being pulled off the solar panels? I'm not.
Yeah.
I admit I'm not.
I'm not
overly
either, but I know
versed,
they make a humming noise that, like, local residents that are nearby in other states where this has been done hear that, and it can cause migraines and nausea. You know, so what if we get a big old solar farm out there and everybody's suddenly got migraines? I think they should stop and think about it. Nobody wants to live near one of those things. I mean, I wouldn't. That's my thought on it. So I do think it devalues their homes, but there's too many unknowns.
Gotcha.
And what I was trying to get across has been a long day, Pat.
That's all right.
What I was trying to get across is how many solar farms do you have out in Indiana? They're actually near residents. Like, you know, we have some in the steel mill. You know, why couldn't we do that? How many sunny days do we actually have here in the winter? What did we do, 25 days or something last winter
I
with
have
no
idea.
sun?
Might be, yeah.
Yeah, so how effective would they be?
I don't know. I'm not sure
And
what goes into
that's
that.
something I'm still learning about too, but I do know there's issues.
Now, is there some benefit to the community other than the green energy, which ostensibly
Right.
is a benefit? Is there some other benefit to the community that you see in being host to a solar farm?
Well, I mean, there's tax revenue, but
Okay.
you know that if you read the fine print, like I went on the webpage, their webpage, if you read the fine print, it says now those aren't guaranteed. They're just projected, and they're paid over like 20, 30 years, something like that.
Okay.
So, you know, they come out in the public and say, oh, yeah, we're going to have this much for Eastern High School. But it could be that much. It could change, and it's paid out over a period of time.
Gotcha. So you would be firmly in the undecided category when it comes to...
I'm against it.
You're, okay,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
against it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
you are
against it.
actually
Until
against
they
the
can
solar farm.
say,
All right.
you know, 100%.
Gotcha. So if elected as a commissioner, and when that comes to you
Yep.
for a vote, today you intend on voting
100%
against it
Yep.
unless you hear something else that
It would,
sways you.
yeah, like I said, we're not going to know that for years.
Sure. All right. Are there any other issues that you see in front of Howard County that you feel you could address as commissioner?
Just mainly the issues I've been focusing on are the economic development monies maybe being used to help these other problems. We have the jail, the ambulance service. I've been researching the ambulance service because who's responsible for it? You know, because some of the ambulance drivers say it's the county. And, you know, maybe the city's been taking the heat for not having enough. I can't, so far, I haven't been able to find anything. I just know we need to figure it out. But those things involving the people more in the decisions.
So you would actually like to see the county get involved in ambulance service? Is that what I'm
Well, what I'm saying is I've been told that the county is responsible to provide emergency services.
Okay.
And I haven't been able to verify that yet. So,
Sure. Well, that's an interesting prospect.
Yeah.
I mean, they already have an ambulance with EMA technically.
Right.
But a sheriff's department with an ambulance service, that's something I hadn't thought about before. It'd be interesting. I don't know, is that the kind of thing that you see, or?
Well, I didn't even think about it that way.
Well, now we're just kind of spitballing, aren't we?
I had a couple of ambulance drivers tell me when I asked them about it. They said there is an Indiana code that says county is responsible for emergencies, making sure there's enough emergency services.
Fascinating.
And like I said, I've not been able to verify it. I'm still trying to find it out.
That's a good issue. Now I want to dig into it.
Well, yeah, if you find something, let me know.
Well, no, but you are interested in public safety. That's great. How do you feel about the state of our public safety from a county standpoint right now? Sheriff's Department, Kinsey Youth Center, EMA. I mean, do you have any ideas or plans for them? Or?
I mean, we need to make sure they have updated equipment. They have enough equipment, the right equipment. I think I had a minor fire that Taylor had to respond to, and you know, those guys, I didn't realize it. You know, I remember one of them saying, "I was at Lowe's, I had to run home, and you know, and they hustle." I just feel like we need to make sure they're safe.
Very good.
They keep us safe. We got to make sure they're safe.
Very good. All right. Is there anything else that we need to add for the cause? Things you would like people to know about you?
No, just I'm ready to be a voice at the table.
Fantastic.
We know I'm loudmouth, but
but that gets things done.
Yeah, sometimes it does. I think one thing going, you know, we can't make a change without their vote. But one thing I'm finding out here is people don't realize they think they have to live in my district to vote for me. Everybody can vote for me.
It is a countywide election. Absolutely.
Yeah, countywide. Anybody can vote.
Right. So you are running as a 3rd district candidate.
Yes.
Which is Eastern Howard County.
Right.
But even though she's just that district, if you live in almost to Burlington, you still get to vote for that race. It's a countywide race. So when you look at the ballot this fall, you're going to see 2 Howard County Commissioner races for District 2 and District 3, and Sherry will be on that 3rd district race there as a Democrat. So when you go to the polls in November, please look for those races. Make sure you are casting your vote in those races. Make sure that you are informed on the issues that are facing you and your community that the county can address. Sherry, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for having me. It was great to see you again.
Good to see you.
And all of you, thank you for watching this episode of The Lamp. Keep watching throughout October as we'll be providing more political coverage. And please go vote. And in the meantime, be good to each other.